Pressure is something we all carry, even when we never speak of it. Have you ever felt that quiet weight settling on your chest, as if life itself is slowly tightening its grip around you? It arrives through expectations, through time slipping away, through responsibilities that multiply while you sleep, through the fear of becoming someone you are not yet ready to be. This pressure follows us into our mornings and waits for us in the silence of night. No matter who you are, no matter where you stand, pressure will find its way to you. Most people see pressure as an enemy to defeat. They believe it exists only to break them, to steal their peace and leave them hollow. When pressure appears, the first instinct is to fight back, to run, to push it as far away as possible. We convince ourselves that once the pressure disappears, we will finally breathe freely, feel calm, find happiness. But the harder we resist, the heavier it grows, until we can barely stand beneath its weight. What most people never realize is that pressure is deeply misunderstood. It does not always arrive to crush you. It does not come only to punish or destroy. Sometimes pressure arrives to shape you, to prepare you for what lies ahead, to reveal strength you never knew existed within you. The problem was never pressure itself. The problem has always been how we choose to meet it. There was a man named Elias, and pressure lived inside him every single day. It followed him like a shadow he could not escape, like a second heartbeat that never slowed. From the moment his eyes opened each morning, his mind already felt heavy. Expectations pressed down on him from every direction, the need to succeed, to prove his worth, to never fall behind those around him. Every task felt urgent. Every decision carried the weight of consequences he could not predict. Elias carried responsibilities that belonged to more than one man. People depended on him, and he depended on outcomes he could not control. Fear sat quietly in the corners of his thoughts, whispering questions that had no answers. What if I fail everyone counting on me? What if I am not enough? What if everything I am building collapses before I can finish? These thoughts wrapped around him tighter each day, making his world feel smaller, making each breath harder to take. His response was always the same. He tried to fight the pressure with force, or he ran from it entirely. He distracted himself with noise, avoided difficult moments until they became crises, and searched desperately for quick relief. He told himself that once things calmed down, once the pressure finally eased, peace would come. But no matter how far or how fast he ran, the pressure followed, patient and waiting, knowing he would eventually stop. At first, Elias believed that fighting was survival. He pushed himself beyond exhaustion, forced smiles when he wanted to scream, and repeated words of strength he did not feel. But the more he resisted, the more drained he became. All his energy poured into holding something back rather than moving forward. Pressure did not weaken when he fought it. It grew heavier, pressing deeper into his bones, settling into places he could not reach. Whenever Elias tried to escape, the pressure followed like a loyal hunter. When he avoided difficult conversations, they returned with sharper edges. When he ignored his fears during daylight, they spoke louder in the darkness of his room. His mind never truly rested. Sleep became shallow and broken, filled with half-dreams that solved nothing. He lay awake staring at ceilings, feeling his thoughts circle endlessly like birds that could not land. The exhaustion moved beyond his mind and settled into his body like an unwelcome guest. His chest stayed tight, as if something heavy had made its home there. His shoulders remained tense, even in moments of stillness. His breath came short and shallow, never quite filling his lungs. Even ordinary days felt impossible to carry. The pressure had become physical, and Elias felt it in every step, every word, every waking moment. One evening, Elias reached a quiet breaking point. There was no dramatic collapse, no shouting into empty rooms, only a deep and hollow emptiness that settled inside him like fog. He felt tired of fighting against something that never tired. Every attempt to escape had made the weight heavier. Every struggle had left him more drained than before. The fight itself had become the true burden, and then, unexpectedly, something shifted within him. Instead of rising panic, he felt stillness spreading through his chest. A strange calm replaced the familiar tension that had lived there for so long. The weight remained, but without his struggle against it, everything felt different. It was no longer an enemy pressing down to destroy him. It became something to observe, something that might teach him, if only he stopped resisting long enough to listen. As Elias sat in that stillness, he began noticing pressure everywhere around him. He saw it in the branches of trees bending gracefully under the weight of rain, never breaking. He saw it in the stones along riverbeds, worn smooth and beautiful by years of flowing water. He saw it in metal tools that had been shaped by hammer and flame into something useful and strong. Even time itself carried a quiet pressure, slowly changing everything it touched into something new. It struck him that pressure did not always destroy what it touched. Sometimes it shaped, strengthened, and formed things into something far more enduring than before. The branches that bent did not break. The stones became smooth and resilient. The metal became sharp and purposeful. For the first time, Elias allowed a small shift to occur in his thinking. Pressure could be a teacher, a force that built rather than broke. Curiosity began replacing the old fear that had always made him run. Elias made a choice. He would stop running from the pressure that had followed him his entire life. Instead of searching for escape, he learned to sit with it, to allow himself to feel the weight without immediately fighting back. At first, discomfort remained. His chest still felt tight, his mind still restless, but he stayed anyway, breathing slowly and steadily, letting each inhale remind him that he could survive this moment. Patience grew quietly within him as he accepted that discomfort was simply part of being alive, not something requiring escape. He began understanding that pressure only felt unbearable when he resisted it with all his strength. As he stayed present, something surprising happened. The pressure transformed. It no longer felt like a force pressing down to crush him. Instead, it became steady and almost guiding, shaping his thoughts and revealing strength he had never accessed before. Over time, a slow change grew inside Elias. It was quiet, almost invisible at first, but steady and undeniably real. With each moment he chose to stay and breathe and accept, something within him strengthened. This was not loud or sudden power. It was calm, deeply rooted, and unshakable. Confidence grew without needing proof or display. The panic that once accompanied every challenge began fading. Calm replaced fear, and the weight that used to crush him became a gentle force guiding him forward. Elias finally understood what had been happening all along. The pressure he had feared and resisted for so many years had not defeated him. It had shaped him. Every moment of discomfort, every challenge he faced, had quietly built his strength, his patience, his understanding of himself and the world around him. He felt stronger than before, not in ways others could see, but deep within where it mattered most. Sometimes we are exactly like Elias. We feel expectations pressing down, the heaviness of life tightening around us, and our first instinct is to fight, to run, to resist with everything we have. But what if that weight is not here to break us? What if it arrives to shape us, quietly and steadily, into something stronger than we ever imagined possible? Pressure is not always the enemy we believe it to be. When we stop fighting, when we allow ourselves to sit with it and breathe through it, pressure becomes a builder rather than a destroyer. It teaches patience, resilience, and a strength that cannot be shaken by circumstance. So take a moment now. Breathe deeply. Let the weight of life sit with you without resistance. Trust yourself and trust the process unfolding within you. Every challenge, every struggle, every quiet pressure is building exactly the strength you need to become who you are meant to be. Live fully. Endure gracefully. Let the pressure guide you. That is how you become unshakable. If this story resonated with you, I'd love to hear how you deal with pressure in your own life. Share in the comments below. And if you want more stories that help you see life differently, subscribe so you don't miss the next one.